Hey y'all, happy Friday, everybody. I hope you guys are doing well. It's been a wonderful week for me. I hope it has been a wonderful week for you as well. And you're finishing on a high note. Hit that like button as you guys come in. I hope you guys are doing well. And also, do you have nice plans for the weekend? I hope you guys do. For me, I might be going to a jazz thing tonight. I'm looking forward to that if I do end up going. If I don't end up going tomorrow, then I will probably be going over the Saturday period. So that would be tomorrow. And then on Sunday, I have a friend coming over to visit me. So I suspect it would be nice to have like Saturday. I don't know. I have this thing where whenever someone is coming to visit me, I feel like I have to do some tidying up. So yes, I probably will do like a lot of tidying up maybe the night before or something, just so or on the day she's coming, just so she is as comfortable as possible. And but yeah, that is my plan for the weekend. Let me know what your plan is for the weekend. Put it in the chat. I want to live vicariously through you. So let me know what your plan is. Also, guys, don't forget to hit that like button, everybody. Thank you so much. Now, today we're going to be talking about Real Housewives of Potomac, Wendy and Eddie specifically, because there is some updates on their case that I want to get into. There's also some update regarding Porsha and Simon Gobadia. Okay. So we will get into that as well. Andy also revealed something recently about KMichelle from Real Housewives of Atlanta. So we will get into that as well. So all I ask, hit that like button. Thank you very much. And let's get into it. So let me just share my screen. Okay, y'all. Shout out to We Go Podcast and the Bravo Shade Room for actually posting this. So Wiggle Podcast says Wendy and Eddie will no longer be tried together. Eddie waived his rights to a speedy trial, being tried within 180 days of being charged. There was extensive discovery and he wants to take a deeper dive per the prosecution. Now, you all know I said something to you guys a couple of days ago, and I said if they know what is good for them, especially with how serious things are, they probably should do it in such a way that one person takes the fall for it. And in this case, obviously Eddie, because Eddie has done specific things like calling allegedly to increase a particular claim. Also, if you guys notice at the reunion, even Giselle kind of helped her in the way she concocted it when she said, "Oh, Wendy, didn't you say you don't really know much about like your financial situation?" And Eddie and those things. So that already makes it seem that Eddie is the one who is the one that orchestrated the whole thing. And you guys know I've said I personally feel like Eddie should take the fall for it. And for different reasons. One of the reasons is the email that Eddie decided to send to Wendy. It's like, dude, you're a lawyer. You should know better, sir. Don't be leaving a paper trail. That's like very, very basic level of basic, I guess, crime 101. So, yes, it is very sad, but it is definitely given the fact that they are someone is probably going to go to jail unless they're able to get out of it from a procedural perspective. Then things may be different, but outside of that is given someone is going to jail. That is what it is given. Okay, so I am not surprised that it sounds like they are being separated. They don't want to be tried together because they want to be able to like turn on each other and say, no, I didn't do this. No, well, she didn't know what I was doing. Or, I feel like that's probably the best decision for them. I suspect that maybe they got some legal advice and it was obvious that it was more damning towards one party versus the other. Don't be surprised if Wendy plays the I'm this trusting wife who was completely unaware about what was going on and stuff like that. So I will not be surprised at all if that ends up being what it turns out to be. Um, so I do think that's quite interesting. Wendy wants a trial, so I think there's a typo. Wendy wants a trial seemingly immediately. She did not waive her right to a speedy trial. which makes sense. She wants to get over it. She wants to be able to come out and wear her white and play that innocent card. And I did not know what he was doing and all that kind of stuff, which makes sense. There needs to be, in my opinion, at least one parent that can take care and look after the children. That is my perspective on the whole situation. It would be sad for both of them to end up going to jail, risk to their license, all of that. At least if one of them goes into jail, then the other can be in charge of the license or something, if it works that way. I don't know if it's a license that is transferable in that way. And when I talk about license, I'm talking about the CBD stuff, because someone needs to be able to run Happy Eddie if Happy Eddie is actually doing well. So these are some of the things that they need to be thinking about, right? And so also then thinking about the children, who would look after the children on a day-to-day basis. These are also some of the things that I'm not surprised that the people were trying to basically resolve and figure out what was going to happen here. So yeah. The defense and prosecution were looking for dates in March. However, there were none available for a jury trial. This makes me wonder if it is a setup for Eddie to take the fall. You all know I've been saying this for a while, and sounds like what that is, right? And I think that that is how it should be. That is how it should be, because at the end of the day, someone has to look after the children. And especially if was your suggestion, your recommendation that we do this, then sir, you best be ready to take the fall if it goes left. That's just what I'm saying. Wendy said she will not, I suspect she was doing this in court because there's a lot of typos. Wendy will not be able to have a trial as quickly as she wanted. The original trial date for her would have been April 15, 2026. Due to the trial schedule, it will unfortunately have to be pushed out until May. She was willing to go to trial before her status conferences. I see. So she's trying to get it done and over with and move on with her life. I hope she's able to get out of it. And I hope she definitely has plausible deniability. I think if you think about even when she relays the conversation, she almost says like Eddie comes to her and says, "Baby," something like that. That gives the impression that she wasn't even aware, and it was just like he came to me and said, "Oh, here's what's happened," right? And so I feel like it's definitely given that Eddie is going to take the fall, in my opinion. This is just my perspective. Whereas my banner? My banner is up. It's all alleged, but that's what I think. But let me know what you guys think. Do you think that Eddie and Wendy are setting up Eddie to take the fall for this crime? Put it in the chat. Let me know. Is it a yes? Is it a no? Do you think that? Why do you think they want to be tried separately? Maybe you guys might have a different perspective, but you guys know what mine is. They are estimating that Wendy's trial and Eddie's trial will run 4 days, with 1 day for defense. Against that is that is the current estimate. Okay, so let me see what the people are saying. He doesn't want the mother of his kids in jail. I always thought that Apollo did the same for Phaedra. I don't know if that's the same situation. Personally, I feel like Phaedra probably knew that his dealings weren't completely clean, but she's like, as long as you don't bring that close to me or around me, I need to have plausible deniability. That's what I think. I don't know for a fact. Someone says for this to be a white collar crime, it's definitely hitting the media a lot compared to other people. Absolutely. I think it's because of who they are. I think they're also trying to use them as a scapegoat. So yes, it is being pushed absolutely in the public space. A lot more than you are going to expect. Someone said Eddie is doing what he's expected or supposed to do. Okay. This is wild. Free Happy Eddie. All he did was rob the insurance company. This person is funny to me. That's a shame for Eddie. It probably wasn't him trying to keep up with the Joneses initially. Please, let's stop caping for men. Let's stop caping for him. He was the one that sent the email, madam. You don't know for a fact. Yes, maybe she was the one dressing up, but he was right in there with her. So please, I'm still thinking someone from this family was doing this in their names and they're taking the fall. I don't know why. Girl, please. If that makes you sleep at night. When are they going to investigate the Reed's husband? I just feel like that was set up. Well, maybe they set it up properly that there was no evidence that it was a setup. Someone said, Eddie taking the fall when I'm almost sure it was Wendy's idea. Don't sit with me at all. I actually don't think it was Wendy's idea at all. That is so weird. I don't think it was Wendy's idea at all. I think the prosecution is not playing with them and may want to make an example of them. Absolutely. This is what I've said for a long time. And I'm glad WeGo podcast is also letting the people know that this is really what is happening. The people are they are really trying to make an example out of that and dissuade people from making false insurance claims. This is unfortunate. My heart goes out to the family. They will never be the same after this. Absolutely. Depending on the evidence, please take pleas before trial. Please, Wendy, we saw Karen didn't and boom, jail. Don't want to play with a jury when you're seemingly being model citizens. Let prosecution or the judge decide your fate, not members of the community, because this may not go well. It may not. But I feel like if they separate it, there is a better chance of Wendy getting out unscathed. Or getting out with them, maybe a slap on the wrist or something. If I'm not mistaken, let me think. I'm trying to remember Wendy's involvement. I think Wendy went and return certain things. I guess the timeline also matters. If she returned them back in the day and she can argue, oh my gosh, I forgot. I'm a tardy housewife. I completely forgot that I returned them. When they broke into the house, I just realized, oh, I don't have these things and blah, 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 and just put that in the claim. Like a regular person may believe that if there isn't strong argument. Remember, criminal offenses is beyond a reasonable doubt, right? And so if the jury have a reasonable doubt, then they have to find the person not guilty, even if they low-key think he did it. And so that's why I think a jury trial is probably beneficial in that way. I suspect she may not want to admit to fraud because that's a serious offense. And most likely your life changes from then on if you do admit to something like that. So I will not be surprised if that is the reason that she is trying to fight it in jury trial. Because there is a potential that some jurors might just be like, yeah, plus his insurance, who cares, right? So maybe she's hoping for that sort of juror. Now, let's talk about the Porsha and Simon Gorbadia of it all. Okay. So, alrighty. These pictures of both of them. So, TMZ captures that the Real Housewives of Atlanta star Porsha called out um, ex-husband's deceptive practices as she continues to fight him in court. According to the court documents, Porsha scoffed at Simon's effort to dismiss his own defamation lawsuit against her. Simon sued her over a series of social media posts about erectile dysfunction. He claimed Porsha made it appear he was the one suffering from health issues, which he claimed cost him business and caused emotional distress. Personally, I've always kind of felt like, oh well, I felt like she could have gotten away with that because there wasn't anything very obvious to show that she was referring to him, right? He was the one that seemed to, as soon as she put ED, he was the one that seemed to jump in the chat trying to fight that. And it's like, if the shoe didn't fit, why are you so bothered about it, right? ED could have been Erica Badu. Oh, well, no, ED, so it couldn't be Badu. ED could have been Erica Dyson. Eric Dyson. It could be anything, right? So it's a little bit like suspicious that he even thought it was him to begin with. That's why I personally didn't think it was going to go anywhere personally, but you guys may have a completely different perspective. From the post I saw, it was given she was educating the people on ED. And so how is anyone meant to make the connection between ED and her husband or ex-husband, right? So anyway, on July 23, Simon filed documents for his lawsuit to be dismissed. The businessman, who was reportedly deported from America in 2025, says his immigration issues makes it difficult for him to be in court for the trial. Isn't it interesting? Porsha always looks so happy around anybody. It doesn't matter who she's next to, she is going to look happy. A couple of days later, Porsha argued should the case be thrown out, but not argue the case should be thrown out, but not before Simon is ordered to pay her legal bills associated with the case. Absolutely. If you drag me to court, best believe I'm asking for legal fees, honey. Even if the court says no, I'm going to try and get my legal fees. She claims Simon dragged out the case and failed to turn over information. Are we surprised? What information was he planning to turn in the first place, in my opinion, right? Porsha said she had been forced to spend money and time on the case. In the filing, the Real Housewives of Atlanta star points out that her ex was deported after the court found he used deceptive practices to fraudulently enter the United States. Well, that's pretty much a fact. She said his deceptive tactics, including lying about his identity as well as failing to disclose 3 previous convictions in order to sneak back in to America. The court has yet to rule on Porsha's request for fees. Now, I guess we have to wait and see what happens in terms of the courts, whether or not the court decides to grant her the request for fees. I'm not entirely sure whether or not the court would in this case, because it's not like, but then again, she does make an argument about he failed to turn over information. So it sounds like he was even late in providing information about the case anyway to begin with, before he then decided to eventually dismiss the case. So I guess it's ultimately up to the judgment of the court to decide what happens there. But you all let me know, would you want Porsha to be paid for the legal fees? Or do you think, girl, please, you got off easy, there's no defamation case, so you should take the case and take the win? Put it in the chat. Take the win, or you think she should get the legal fees that she has spent so far on pursuing the defamation claim. All right, guys, please hit that like button if you haven't already. We're about to move into the KMichelle of it all, so smash that like button, and let's try getting into it. Okay, so something has gone wrong with the KMichelle link that I had. Let me see if I can get that sorted. 1 second, guys. Sorry. All right, let's listen.
This is the cast we have been waiting for. KMichelle. Now, are you familiar with KMichelle?
Yes.
Oh, you are too, Jordan?
Yeah. I loved her on, I was watching Love and Hip Hop when she was on. Yeah. She's so good. I'm so excited.
I have never seen one frame of Love and Hip Hop. Now, once we started filming and I was reading hot sheets from Atlanta, I DM'd KMichelle to say, you're so great. I'm so glad you're on the team. What did I find? But a DM from KMichelle from like 2023 or something being like, I need a peach. This is the show that I belong on.
Whoa, ain't that interesting? Like, you're over here trying to email or DM this lady telling her, oh gosh, she did an amazing job this season. And boom, she's like, here's the show I need to be on. And you realize you missed the message. Wild.
Somehow I had missed this. Oh my God.
I know. She's a superstar.
And in the interview chair? Are you kidding me? And then, do you know Pinky?
Andy, I've not heard Andy be this excited about someone in a long time. Andy sounds low-key excited. He sounds like a fan. So I don't know what KMichelle did, but KMichelle must have brought it this season for Andy to be this excited about her.
Yes.
The founder of Slutty Vegan? Had you heard of Slutty Vegan
before?
Yes. Okay, so I'm so
Jordan's a vegan.
Yes, but I didn't know her that.
This is the cast we have been waiting for.
Oh.
KMichelle. Now
I didn't know her that well as like, just a person,
so
a personality.
They're pals. And then like Phaedra's known Pinky for 10 plus years from around Atlanta. Pinky and Shamia are pals. Porsha and KMichelle are pals. KMichelle and Pinky go way back. Like, it's a real group, but
so it's definitely sounding like it's given real friendships, real sisterhood. We've known each other for a while. I see.
When I tell you, I was cackling at the premiere. Now, I had seen it, and we had a little, I watched the cuts and we give notes, and I there was work to be done, but
KMichelle is a personality, right? So whether you like her or whether you don't like her, she's entertaining. And so I think that her coming on the show, I think that she will definitely bring a lot to the show. I think she naturally has personality. So that would be fun to watch.
I was like, wow, this is like super promising. But boy, I'm 5 episodes into Atlanta of cuts, and it is a delight.
But I didn't know her that.
Andy sounds excited. Someone said it's given he's excited about Ratchet TV on Bravo, but let's see. He sounds excited. He sounds like this is what I've been waiting for. Okay. So I guess it'll be interesting to see how they get on. Someone said Nene, Kim, Z, and Sheree, please. Just Nene for me. KMichelle would be great. Don't care what anyone thinks. I look forward to seeing her. I'm not sure how I feel about this posting. It's given that KMichelle always gives Ratchet scenery in her scenes. So was he excited about that? I think that, plus I think KMichelle is actually naturally funny. Don't forget, you're shaking the table. Like, KMichelle is theatrical rather, and she will make it like entertaining for us. She's like a low-key, I don't want to do that, but KMichelle and Porsha have some similarities in the sense that they can be fun, they can be witty in their confessionals and bring some entertaining energy. So I think maybe that's what he likes. Bear in mind that he loves himself some Porsha. So I would not be surprised if he sees that, like being able to make it fun and make funny statements and stuff in confessionals as well, maybe what he's loving. Someone said, I know KMichelle going to eat confessionals alive. I agree. That's cute, but I won't be watching this season like that. I'm not interested in it. I was like, all right. There's always going to be people who are not interested in it, but I will be watching. I'm excited for it. I will be watching. And if they let me down, I will come here and tell y'all that they have let me down. But I will give it a shot. I will give it a genuine try. I will be open to meeting the people. I liked that Pinky did a skit recently about like what people think happens when you file bankruptcy. I thought that was hilarious. And I think like that's kind of like witty, not taking things too personally is what we need on these kind of shows. Because I think lately a lot of people be taking things way too seriously. And so I think if we take it back to a little bit of basics where people are not so pressed about every single thing, then maybe we would get things, maybe it would be a little bit fun, right? Maybe we can go back to a little bit of fun instead of the way things have been, right? Like, let me show y'all the clip that I'm talking about. She posts what people think happens after you file bankruptcy. So she's over there coming out with her dog and her what do you call it? Her luggage, driving past her Bentley, and then trying to hail a cab on the road. Right? That's what people think happens after bankruptcy. But she's like, yo, that that's not really what it is. And the people that know, but I think it's nice and entertaining to have somebody, a personality that feels like, nah, I don't have to hide the fact that this has happened. I'm going to own it and do a little funny skit about it. And that's that. So I'm very keen to kind of get to know KMichelle and Pinky in particular based on that particular skit that she posted. But let me know what you guys think. Don't forget to like, share, hit that subscribe button, and turn on your notifications. Oh my gosh. So you know every single time that I post or go live. And let me know what you think in the chat. Put it in the chat. Let me know what you think. And I hope you have a wonderful Friday, and I will speak to you later. Bye.